Hey, Dena here. Let me just get back to this Q&A vlog. I don't really have an intro per se. It's just... Hi, Dena. I have two questions. One, I was wondering, since you did videos on the Silent Hill franchise, which got me hooked on your channel, and into Silent Hill, have you thought about doing game and movie dens on the Resident Evil series? And I've already talked about that. No. I might do more Resident Evil Let's Plays, by the way, just not game dens. You once said that you read Stephen King novels, have thought about doing videos on favorite horror books and authors. I'm right now reading the first Stephen King novel, It. Oh, my first Stephen King novel, It. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a door stopper, but it's a good book, as I recall. It's been ages since I read it, but... P.S. Whatever happened to your Silent Hill 4 readings? Okay, one thing at a time. I already did the Resident Evil one. Have you thought about doing videos of favorite horror books and authors? I don't really read that many horror novels. I got really into Stephen King, and I've read, like, other things here and there occasionally. I've literally only read 2 Clive Barker books. Like, I read one that was an anthology. What was it even called? If I remember, I'll put it at the bottom. And I read The Hellbound Heart in preparation for doing my Hellraiser videos. But yeah, like 90% of the reading I've done is Stephen King, aside from, graphic novels and stuff. So yeah, I don't really have a list of favorite horror authors. It's pretty much just Stephen King. To be fair, I'm not that much of a reader in general. I don't read that many books, so, at least not fiction. On that subject, I would like to cover more Stephen King movies. I can't believe I've only ever done one so far, which was Pet Sematary. I love Stephen King. There are a lot of Stephen King movies I like, and so I definitely want to do more of those. I just haven't for some reason. Whatever happened to your Silent Hill 4 readings? I really enjoyed those. Yeah, I know some people really like those. They were like my least watched videos, but that's okay. I mostly just did them for fun. What happened with those, it was a combination of things. One is that, it was meant to be a very simple, quick video to just kind of do on my off time. And it got to be more, complicated the longer it went on, because I decided to make it harder for myself and go a whole, like, audio drama route where I added, sound effects and stuff like that, and, just that kind of stuff really caused it to take a lot longer to make. I would basically spend my whole Friday night working on it, and it's like, that's kind of a good chunk of my weekend, So, there was that, and that was okay until I got to where I didn't have as much time to make videos. I got to where I got behind on my videos, and I just didn't have as much free time to do stuff like that. So, I was kind of burned out on videos by the time the weekend came, and I just wanted to take a break from making videos on the weekend. So yeah, that's most of it. Just that it was something to do on my off time, and then it got to where I didn't want to do videos on my off time. And another thing that makes it hard to do is whenever I'm doing Henry's voice, I don't want it to just sound like me. I know you can tell it's me, but I like to speak in a slightly different way when I do Henry. And the way I do that is that I speak in a half whisper, and I kind of pitch up my voice a little bit. And the thing is, that's actually really hard on my vocal cords. Like, once I got to it was fine when I did the prologue, but then when I got to the main chapters, it was like, it's really hard on the vocal cords. But yeah, so basically the short version is that I thought those videos were going to be quicker and easier to do than they were, and I just didn't have time to do them either way. So I'm not saying I'm never going to continue them. I do hope to continue them at some point. I kind of want to make, despite the fact that I haven't touched it in ages, I want to make my my audio drama for Silent Ponyville a priority, because believe it or not, yeah, I still plan on making that. Mainly because other people have done the voice work for that one, and I don't want to make them do the voice work and then never do anything with it. That seems kind of shitty. So because other people are involved, I want to make that one a priority. Now that I finally have all the voices in, I just have to do the narration, and of course there's going to be tons of editing and sound design and all that shit to do. But yeah, I don't know when. I do hope to eventually continue the Silent Hill 4 reading, because that I thought that was kind of a neat thing to do. But yeah, I don't know when I'm gonna get back to it. But I haven't like canceled it or anything. It's just one of those things that sort of fell through the cracks for now. What were your favorite movies of 2016? Well, I don't get to the theater very often, so I'm not sure what 2016 movies I've seen. Did Hush come out in 2016? Otherwise, if it did, I want to say that one might have been early 2016. Maybe if Hush came out in 2016, it's probably that one, because there are very new horror movies I see that I really like, and I love that one. So I also saw in 2016. What movies did I see last year? Did Ant-Man come out last year? I think that was the year before. I'm pretty sure like Doctor Strange came out last year, and I liked that one a lot. And what else? Pete's Dragon was surprisingly good. It wasn't like a great movie, but considering that I tend to turn my nose up at remakes because so many of them are pointless, Pete's Dragon was a rare case of taking an old movie that doesn't hold up so well and improving on it. That's supposed to be the whole point of doing a remake. You're not supposed to just do it for a cash grab. So yeah, Pete's Dragon was pretty good, and yeah, that's about it. That's all I can think of as far as the movies I saw last year. Hello, my name is Asia Extreme Infinity. Hello, Asia Extreme Infinity. That's with the all caps. My question is, would you consider... Okay, this question's kind of weird. Would you consider films that came out during the silent film era, 1910 and 1929, through the classic era of 1930s, 40s, 50s, up to 1965, and through the retro era of 1966 through the 1970s, 80s, and 90s until 2000 as the golden age of Hollywood cinema? I mean, I think the short version of that question is, do I consider pretty much all of the 1900s to be the golden age of Hollywood? I'm not sure if that question is a joke or if I'm just misunderstanding it, but like, no. That's like all of movie history. That's like practically all of movie history right there. I'm not sure if I'm understanding the question or if this is just somebody messing with me. So yeah, no, I don't consider the entirety of the 1900s to be the golden age of Hollywood. Yeah. Yeah. Did you lose weight? I think I talked about this a while back. A few years ago, I did drop like 40 pounds, and even I noticed it then, but I've since gained like half of it back. So I don't know. Maybe this camera is just really generous. I don't know. Will you ever consider with Dena Reed's Silent Hill or any other Dena Reed's? Actually, basically already. Well, I do plan to continue the Silent Hill 4 one eventually. I just don't know when. I also plan on doing Silent Ponyville. There's a short story by Stephen King called The Jaunt that I would love to do a reading of, and those are the only ones I have in mind right now. What made you keep pushing through 10 years of YouTube? It probably helps that like the first 7 of those years, it was really just a hobby. I didn't really make it. I was only putting out a couple videos per year. It's only recently that it got to be a full-time thing, so that helps. Other than that, I'm not really sure how to answer that. I haven't really been like a full-time YouTuber all that long, only like a couple of years. So yeah, pure tenacity. I don't know. Do you watch other YouTubers? Of course I do. They didn't ask who I watch, but I guess it's sort of implied. So I do watch a lot of Markiplier. I watch Linkara. I know I'm going to end up leaving a lot of them out. You know what? Just to be creative, I think I'll point out some of the non-geeky channels I watch. I love How to Cook That. I think that's what How to Cook That. Yeah, that's what's called Yo-Yo Max 12. That's another cooking channel. Yeah, I make cooking videos, so obviously I watch cooking videos. Oh, One Pot Chef is another really good cooking video. What else is there? Oh, there's Vintage or Tacky, which is like... actually, she's a beauty guru, and it's... I don't know why there are a couple of beauty guru channels I watch, and I don't know why, because I don't really care about fashion. I don't wear makeup, but some people, I guess, are just entertaining enough. Vintage or Tacky, well, her name is Cora. She's kind of cool because she's a plus size. Well, she's plus size and she has a really unique style, and she has like, I think her hair is like green and blue right now, so it kind of inspired me to dye my hair, which it looks crappy right now because it's all come out. But anyway, yeah, there's her, and who else? I still watch AVGN. He is just as good as he always has been. I'm endlessly impressed by James's videos. I like a Lost in Adaptation. I think I'll leave it at that. There's like actually a lot of YouTube channels I watch. So, what's your guilty pleasure movie? To give you an idea of what I mean, my guilty pleasure movie is Spice World, the Spice Girls movie. That's, yeah, if that wasn't a guilty pleasure, I might be worried. Guilty pleasure movie. So basically a movie you know is bad, but you love it. Maybe Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes. Honestly, I don't think that movie's that bad, but it is kind of cheesy and not as deep as it thinks it is. Admittedly, 90% of what I like about that movie is the makeup. Makeup, animatronics, whatever. Just the apes look really good in that movie. Is there anything else? I guess the Resident Evil movies probably count. I actually thought the first one was pretty good. I mean, it was kind of cheesy, but they get progressively more cheesy, but I still think they're fun. And yeah, it's hard to, because I don't really go out of my way to intentionally watch bad movies, so it's hard to think of some. But I gave you some, so there you go. What program do you use for video capture and editing, and how do you deal with creative burnout? Well, for video capture, I use this Game Capture HD. I used a Game Bridge forever, but they eventually stopped making them, and the company stopped supporting it. So we eventually settled on Game Capture HD. Yeah, I've tried, what's that one that a lot of people like? I can't think of its name now. Well, anyway, any other capture software hasn't worked for me too well. I do occasionally use OBS. OBS is pretty good. It's a little, there's a learning curve, and if I haven't used it for a long time, I have to like remind myself of how the hell to set up the stupid thing. But once you set it up, you can save the settings, so you only really have to do it once. So there's that. Yeah, that's for capture. For editing, I use Sony Vegas. I pretty much always use Sony Vegas, even if... Sorry, a big truck went by. I pretty much only... I use Sony Vegas for editing pretty much everything. I even use it just for audio. So, yeah. Got one for you. Do you have any collaborations you'd want to make happen, feasible or otherwise? You managed to snag Guy Seehee, wow, I can't believe I said his name wrong, a couple times, so I'm sure you've got more ideas. You know, I have tried doing like crossovers and stuff, planning them, and they never seem to work out. So I'm just at the point of like just sort of taking a hint and not even attempting them anymore. But hypothetically, I would really like to do one with Linkara if, you know, the stars ever aligned in such a way that we were at the same convention at the same time, and you know, we had a good idea of something we wanted to cover, because I think we like a lot of the same things, and I think our reviewing style is kind of similar. He's way better at it than me, but you know, yeah, I think Linkara would be a good match for me as far as doing a crossover. What inspired you to start making videos? I think I answered this earlier. It's mostly my husband's. My husband has had a show called Still Gaming, and just kind of watching him doing that and seeing how it turned out and how it looked like it was fun. And another thing, I don't think I've ever mentioned this, but I'm just that person who likes to share stuff they like. So like, if a friend of mine invited me over, I would come over and I'd bring a DVD or something. It's like, oh, I have this movie I think you would like, and you know, that's just kind of how I am. So I like sharing things I like with people, and that's why my videos are mostly about things I like Sorry, the cat was on the table and the table creaks. Anyway, Where was I? That's why I tend to talk about stuff I like rather than, making rant videos about stuff I don't like. Not that I'm above doing that, as you have seen, I'm sure, but yeah, I prefer to do positive videos because of that. Do you think you'll ever come back to do more Silent Hill related videos? I would love to see more, even if you played every Silent Hill game from the series. Actually, I do have an idea for a top 5 list involving Silent Hill. And maybe I'll make that my next video after the cat videos are done. Maybe I'll make that my next game den. I've been wanting to do more game dens anyway, so there you go. Oops, you know what? I think I skipped one. Sorry. I'm trying to scroll too fast here. Would you consider doing a Let's Play of any Castlevania games, NES onward? Would you consider doing a film den on the Twilight Zone or Doctor Who? Let's Play of I don't know if I would do a Let's Play on a Castlevania game, but I'm in the minority here, but I love, I can't think of the name of it. I love it so much I forgot the title. Castlevania Bloodline. How could I forget that? That's such a, stock Bloodline is such a stock title now. But yeah, Castlevania Bloodline for Genesis. I actually love that game, so I could see maybe doing a game den on that. I don't know if a Let's Play would be very entertaining, so I don't know if I would do a Let's Play, but I would like to do something with that sometime. Would you consider doing a film den on the Twilight Zone or Doctor Who? I'm not sure how I would handle a Twilight Zone series film den. Unless I did a vlog, but there would be so many episodes to cover. I don't know about that. I suppose I could do a top 10 of my favorite Twilight Zone episodes. So maybe. I definitely want to talk about Twilight Zone the movie someday because I like that a lot. As for Doctor Who, I've never really watched Doctor Who. I've seen a couple episodes. It looks like a really good show, but I just never really watched it. So yeah, I don't expect to ever really talk about Doctor Who. Oh boy. What did you think about Red Dwarf 11? I didn't dislike it per se. Well, first of all, keep in mind I've only seen it once, so I tend to sometimes change my mind after, the first time seeing somebody. But my first impression was that it felt kind of lacking. And, god damn it, I got an eyelash. I'm not sure how to explain it, but Red Dwarf 11 felt a little bit lacking to me. The jokes were funny. Nearly every episode I would laugh my ass off at some line or another, but, the first episode of that season, I just didn't, there was one joke I laughed at, but the rest of it was just kind of, eh. And then, the last one, they kind of advertised it as a cat episode, and it really wasn't that much of a cat episode. And, I don't know, there's something missing in Red Dwarf 11 that's kind of hard to put my finger on. I think it felt shallow. It was missing the depth that the earlier episodes had. Because, Red Dwarf it's foremost a comedy, of course, but it has a certain kind of depth to it, and that's what I love about it. And, I think I felt like season 11 was lacking that. There weren't any episodes that really made me think and go, oh, wow, that's a different way to look at that thing. It felt like it was straight comedy, and the comedy was funny, but it felt a little bit lacking. And, season 10 was mostly comedy, too, but there were a couple episodes that kind of went into character development, and they had some depth. Oh, I just realized that my head of hair is sticking out. Wonderful. So yeah, it's hard to put my finger on why, but season 11 was a little bit lacking to me. That's the first Red Dwarf season I ever watched where I immediately kind of just went, huh, not sure about this one. I'm not, in retrospect, I'm not crazy about season 8, but I had to watch season 8 a few times before I came to that conclusion. I generally liked it, I think, when I first saw it. So yeah, it's the first episode first season of Red Dwarf I ever saw, and felt kind of meh about it. But, we'll see. Maybe I'll appreciate it more on a second viewing. We'll just have to see how it goes. My first impression wasn't that great. Whereas with season 10, I fucking loved season 10 because it was so damn funny. And I guess it had just enough depth in it to keep me happy in that regard. Season 11, I don't know. You know what? I think I just realized that someone asked a question, and I'm sorry, I'm all over the place with this one. Someone asked me, how do you deal with... Oh, there it is. What program do you use for video capture and editing, and how do you deal with creative burnout? My way of dealing with creative burnout is that I try to avoid it. I try to treat this, because this is my full-time job, I basically try to treat it that way. I try to work from between 8 to 5, and then at 5 I stop working. Unless I'm behind, of course, and I have to pull over time. But I try to keep it I try to treat it like a normal full-time 8-hour job. Basically, yeah, that's how I deal with creative burnout. I basically try to avoid it. I think I'm going to stop there because I've been recording for a little over 20 minutes already. And for the record, the reason I put a limit on it is because, on one hand, I don't want to answer all of these questions in one video and have it be like 2 hours long. And on the other, I don't want to have like millions of videos, so this is kind of my way of making the video not too short and not too long. I try to record for about 20 minutes, give or take. Anyway, yeah, so that's it for now. How am I doing? I think I'm about halfway through these questions, and I believe this is going to be the 3rd episode. No, this is a 4th episode, so this stupid thing might be 8 parts long. We'll see. Some questions take longer to answer than others. That's why I put a time limit on it, so that, you know, if I end up with a lot of short questions, it'll be a shorter video. Anyway, I'm just rambling now, so probably best to end this right now before I ramble more. Okay, wow. That's it for now. See you next time.